Hello and good evening. This is Bo Schmidt. Checking in. Um, Today we're going to work on second grade standard of place values. As I said, this is in second grade, and our specific learning goal here is for to allow students to be able to identify number place values and expressions using the ones, tens, and hundreds place value. Um, we're going to do that in alignment with the standard 2.1.1 and allow them to represent whole numbers up to 1,000 with an emphasis on the place value. So our specific learning strategy for this is the use of manipulative blocks. Um, right here we have the base 10 number blocks. On the screen on that picture, we see four different categories of them. On the left, we have the ones blocks, which are separate. They represent one number. In the second grouping there, you see lines of 10 that are all connected. Those represent the tens. The bigger blocks that have 100 connected represent 100, and the largest one there is 1,000. We're not going to worry about the 1,000 for this lesson. We're only going to go up to 999 at most. So what we're going to do is we're going to use those manipulatives as long as graphic organizers to help represent the different place values in a number sequence. So we're taking an abstract concept of numbers and making it a real concrete thing that will be very helpful for all of our learners, but especially those with learning disabilities. So in this strategy, what we're going to do is we're going to grab random numbers of blocks of hundreds, random number of blocks of tens, and a random number of blocks of ones between 1 and 9 or 0 and 9. And what the student is going to do is then they're going to sort those numbers, those different groupings into their own groups. So we have a group of hundreds, a group of the 100 blocks, a group of the tens blocks, and a group of the ones boxes. Now, once they are all sorted out, they are going to put those numbers into a graphic organizer, like the one you see at the bottom, where it has a heading hundreds, tens, ones, and the total. In the example that's provided on the screen, the student would have gotten one big box of 100, three groups of 10, and then two single ones. In this strategy, what you do is you take that group of 100 and you put it down in the hundreds. And to help the students understand that that is not just a 1, it is representative of 100 block. Just like in the tens column, we have three groups of 10. That is not simply 3, but it represents 30 total blocks, as you can see in the yellow blocks there. And finally, in the ones category, we have a 2. Now, based on those place values, the hundreds, tens, and ones, you will take each number and put it in line with the total number. So, for example, the ones goes in the far right in the ones column, the tens goes just to the left of that in the middle, and the hundreds goes in the third from the right over, giving us a total of 132 blocks. Now, that was a relatively easy example. More challenging examples would be ones where you do not include a tens or a ones number, so that the student would have to identify that there were 0 ones or 0 tens, and they would still have to write the number, making it the same value as the number of blocks displayed. Now, this strategy can be paired very nicely with the student practice using peer-assisted learning strategy, as we learned about in the presentation online. Now, this process would look, you'd have a student acting as the coach and a student acting as a player. The coach would gather different amounts of hundreds, tens, and ones and present them to the player. The player then would have to sort them into the different groups, and then based on those groups, fill out the same graphic organizer that we saw before. Together, the coach and the student would look at it and decide if they got the answer correct. This is a great strategy to allow students to build confidence with one another, that they can act as the coach, and they get their practice as a player as well. After the coach does, one or two with the player, they then switch roles, giving each of them that opportunity. It's a great way to reinforce all of the different understandings that they had with the manipulatives. So this